Let's get to Lauren Johnson in Upper Darby this morning. She admitted to doing it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Apparently she made a phone call. But Thomas, just to give you the lay of the land, we're on Keystone Avenue in Upper Darby. And if you take a look, you can see just how tightly packed these houses are here on this street. So this could have been a much worse situation. The house a little farther than halfway down the block. So how did she do it? Apparently it was a pile of clothes doused in some type of accelerant. And police believe she's unapologetic for her actions, despite all the drama she created for her neighbors here. Get a good look at her. 20-year-old Tracy Davis. Upper Darby police have issued a warrant for her arrest. It was Sunday just after midnight when police and fire responded here to 34 North Keystone Avenue after a fire call. Smoke was pouring from a second floor front bedroom and it was completely engulfed. A witness told police they saw Davis in and around this location just a few minutes before the fire started burning. At the same time, the owner of the home gets a shocking phone call. When that call ends, that homeowner called police.
Shortly before or shortly after, the owner of 34 got a phone call from a girl who was a former tenant who had been evicted, a Tracy Davis. And basically, Tracy said to him, "I told you I would come back and get you. I just lit the place up."
Well, police say they're now analyzing other evidence that links Davis to this crime. Right now, the warrant charges her with arson and risking a catastrophe. They are encouraging her to surrender herself to authorities. The fire caused several people to be evacuated, along with 3 people who lived at that home that she targeted. Neighbors and police say this could have been much, much worse. The good news in all of this, police and fire are very close to this location. Made it easy, Thomas, for the response time.
Quick action, only a matter of time, hopefully, before they get her. 407. Lauren, thank you.
Why would she do that? Lauren, tell us.
Well, she was upset, apparently. So people started calling the police department here behind me. They called across the street to the fire department, and then they both responded 2 blocks away to Keystone Avenue. And the closeness was so convenient in this case of a raging fire threatening both people and other homes. This is the woman responsible for intentionally setting the blaze. According to Upper Darby police, it's 20-year-old Tracy Davis. They say she was upset with her landlord after being evicted, and she wanted revenge. So shortly after midnight on Sunday, detectives tell us she used an accelerant on a pile of clothes to set the home on fire. When firefighters arrived, smoke was pouring from a second floor front bedroom. The home completely engulfed. One neighbor remembers the frantic moments and say this situation makes her want out.
Ready to get up and get out of here. Although I'd invested a lot of money, but I'm ready to get up and get out of here. Yeah. It don't pay to worry about money at times like this. Yeah, I was scared to death. I thought I was going to go up too. I was sitting right over there on their porch. And the fireman told me, "You can't go nowhere, miss." I said, "I'm going over there and see what I got." Yeah. But I'm still scared. I'm still scared.
Police have issued a warrant for her arrest. She's being charged with arson, risking a catastrophe, and other charges. A witness told police they saw her trying to get into that home minutes before that fire started. Police pretty confident they have recovered even more evidence that links Davis to the crime. And that neighbor that you heard from says the biggest challenge for a street like hers has become homes going from owners to rentals. She says she is sandwiched right between 2 rooming houses, which means the turnover is really high, and she doesn't really know her neighbors very well. Also, Mike and Karen, this woman who's the suspect in this arson, also apparently called the homeowner to tell the homeowner that she had set that fire.
Hey, guess what I did to your house?
See it right there. Let's get to Lauren Johnson with more on what's going on here. A wild scene, Lauren.
Hey there, Thomas. Yeah, very wild. And some people describe what you see in that video sort of a flash mob. Dozens of teenagers walk right through the front door of this Walgreens here at 18th and South Street, creating complete chaos. And if it's hard to imagine what could they possibly do, we'll show you the video and you can see for yourself. Watch as they run around the neighborhood pharmacy, swiping shelves, destroying displays, knocking items down without thought or care, and really scaring some of the other customers inside. All of this happening just before 10 p.m. on the 4th of July. Some of the teens grabbed items to go without paying for them. And then there were the teenagers who decided to throw items at employees and in some cases cause injury. Police released the video, hopeful the teens are identified and turned in.
50 to 60 kids we estimate, or young adults, ranging mid to late teens is what it looks like. They stormed into the store, began removing items, ransacking the store. We estimate the value of the items taken and or damaged at around $6,000 or $7,000. Perhaps most significantly, because property damage is one thing, it's bad, but it pales in comparison to an injury to a human being. But in the midst of that chaos, a store employee was struck with a bottle, causing an injury to his head.
The charging could be complicated for police, and they need your help identifying these teenagers so they can decide who did what and charge them appropriately. 4 young people were already charged that night for disorderly conduct moments after the large crowd started to disperse in this area. And boy, did they get away fast, leaving almost as quickly as they came pouring inside of the store. Police tell us ransacking the Walgreens was just one of an instance that these teenagers were involved in that night. So a lot of teenagers running around the city getting into some trouble. And Thomas, we know there's a curfew during the summer hours. Hopefully parents will help police enforce that.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of disappointed parents as well. Lauren Johnson this morning. Lauren, thank you. 4:05. Lauren Johnson outside the store. They did it just because?
Yeah, it seems like it was just something fun for the kids to do, and it didn't just start here at the Walgreens. Apparently, they were in the streets all night causing chaos, but when they stormed inside this store, little did they know they would be caught on camera and really interrupting people's lives that 4th of July night when people were out and about trying to celebrate and have fun. All of the fun came to a screeching halt that night around 10 p.m. when about 6 dozen teenagers decide to march right inside the pharmacy with no real business. Police just releasing the surveillance video yesterday. Watch as they walk inside one by one, some with their cell phone cameras rolling, all of them walking right into the frame of several cameras inside the store. They knock over displays, they steal items, they terrorize customers, and they even injured one employee who tried to step in and ended up getting hit in the head with a bottle. Police say the damage and theft are estimated around $6,000 or $7,000, and police have a message for parents.
One of the reasons we put it out is obviously we're looking for the public's assistance in identifying who the individuals are so that we can hold them accountable. But we also want to show that video for the parents, because if you recognize your own kid, I mean, a parent who recognizes their own child, it's up to them what they decide to do with it. Certainly we would strongly encourage you to avail that to us. But also I think it's equally important for a parent that sees their child or nephew or niece or loved one, maybe it's a neighbor on the block that knows that it's little Johnny from down the block, to take whatever corrective course of action as a parent you might take.
So look again for a youngster in the video you might know or recognize, and if you do, make sure his or her parents are aware of what happened. We all know it takes a community to raise children, but also to discipline them as well. Police don't really want to do it, and they want parents to step up and do their part, but they cannot fight crime alone, especially if they do not know who these children are or who their parents are. Most of these kids were mid to late teenagers, all of whom should have been abiding by the summer curfew. That's 10:30 for kids 13 to 17 years old on a weeknight, which this was on the 4th of July, midnight on the weekend. So again, Thomas, police say they need the help of everyone, the community, to identify these kids, the parents, of course, to discipline them.
Yeah, it's time for those parents to step up, have that conversation. Not a good look here. Lauren, thank you. 4:34.
Hey there, Thomas. So the call came in around 20 minutes ago of an armed carjacking. That means the suspect at least threatened a weapon, maybe produced one to his victim, then tried to leave that scene. We're not sure where that scene is exactly, but crashed that car right here. You can see it behind me. We are at Logan and Germantown Avenue. Shortly after crashing the car here, the suspect got out, fled on foot, and we understand that he is now inside a home on a street. I think it's called Wyneva Street here in the Germantown area of the city. So it's about a block and a half away from where this crash scene is. Police have this neighborhood sort of blocked off in different areas. So we're trying to get a little bit closer. But as we were doing that, we found the car here on the side of, it looks like a business here. It doesn't look like a residential home. I think it's some type of school. It looks like on the side of this building. I can't make it out, but it says something Academy here on the side. So you can see that traffic light resting just on top of the car. The back seat door, or the back passenger side door, open. So not sure if that getaway driver had someone else in the car with him, or maybe had to flee out of the side of the car because he couldn't open the front door side where he was, because that car is like jammed into the side of the building. So again, a barricade situation here in Germantown this morning after an armed carjacking around 4:40. So we're going to see if we can get a little bit closer. We do understand SWAT is on scene here, probably trying to negotiate with that driver to come out of the house and surrender to police. But we'll work on this out in the field, and we'll check back in with you guys. police.
Yeah, still an active scene. All of this developing in the past hour here. As soon as something takes place, we'll get it right back to you. Lauren, thank you for that.
Hey, good morning, guys. So the good news that we heard from Chief Inspector Scott Small is that one person is in custody, as you mentioned, the other not in custody. They thought that he was in the back of a home here on Wyneva in Germantown, but police say once they thought he went inside, they retreated, called in the professionals, of course, SWAT and negotiators, to try to get access to this guy, talk him out of the home. At some point, they realized that he was not coming out. They went inside and realized he's not inside that home either. So that suspect, of course, still at large. He's described as a teenager, late teenage, early 20s, and very thin, skinny build. But let's show you this car that he's accused of carjacking from a 50-year-old man at a gas station here in Germantown. Requested his keys and his cell phone, took off in this car. Police were made aware of it. They thought they spotted the car. They were about to pursue him, not pursue him, I should not say that. They were about to conduct an active traffic stop when these two suspects realized that and ended up crashing into the front of what appears to be a academy, a school of some sort, daycare maybe, and they took off on foot. So one of those suspects caught near Germantown and Green. The other, they thought, ran into the back of his home. They were not able to find him. That victim is okay, was able to give police a good description of both men. So at this point, the good news is that this is a really important piece of information, Mike and Karen. The suspect that was positively identified by that victim is the one that produced the gun. So they do think that that's the one who was holding the gun. They're not sure where that weapon is at this point, if it's still in that car, if he ditched it when he fled the car. But they are still searching for that other suspect this morning.
Boy, wild night.